It is Monday morning. I am in the office. James passed away when I walked in this morning. And I'm using my microphone for the first time. Insert round of applause. February is maybe my month that I get back into my actual routine and stop being a little mermaid frolicking around home, pretending that I'm doing a good amount of work, because I do a little bit of work and then I just go to the fucking beach. So we're back in the office. Also, look at my new toy. I've got my walking pad. Oh my God, I'm looking at the volume on my screen of when I use this microphone. I'm a very loud human being and I'm well aware of that. Maybe if I put this, you've stopped tracking my face. If I put it here, maybe that's a safer distance to my mouth because she's a foghorn. Just try and talk quieter, Taylah. I have been editing last week's vlog now, and I was watching it back, and just a few times when I'm like talking to you in the kitchen or where else was I? Anyway, irrelevant. But I was just noticing like all those background noises are so annoying. So I was like, Dal, you've got a microphone that is going to waste in the bag. So here we are, learning, improving, getting better, making the experience more easy to watch for you. Because it's Monday, today is my editing vlog day. You're kind of at an awkward height here. Better light. Everything's about lighting, fam, you know this. So I actually had a engagement session last night. So I am editing last week's vlog, but I am also just uploading last night's engagement session and going through, picking all their proofs, and then I will send that off. But yeah, today's a pretty admin-based day, but that's what my Mondays are. Health and fitness wise, we are on track, fam, especially now that I have this walking pad. I have been walking all morning. It's actually, I don't know if you're supposed to just walk on it all day because my ankles are sore. I think my body's gone into shock. So today's not like a gym day for me. On Mondays, I try to have a day where I can just focus on getting myself set up admin wise, and then I have booked myself in for a sauna this afternoon. So we're gonna go do that. What's on for the week? Also, as I'm like watching back these vlogs when I'm editing, I'm going to work on, and please comment any suggestions, but I'm just noticing myself that I think I need to cut down more of the just chatting to you, because I do want it to feel like, you know, I'm just your friend and I'm telling you about my life and giving you tips along the way, but I am going to try and start condensing that and just be a little bit more mindful of when I turn this camera on, I'm giving you value. Last week I did some like editing stuff for you guys. This week, what have I got on? Wednesday, I actually have my first coaching call. I've created a membership that photographers can join, and once a month we all jump on a big coaching call together and they can ask me anything that they want. And because we all work in the same industry, sometimes the questions that they ask are going to help the other photographers as well. So that's happening on Wednesday. So I will film some of that for you too. And then on the weekend, I've got a wedding. So I guess throughout the week, I'm just going to think of some little nuggets of wisdom that I can share with you guys. This morning, I did post a reel about when I go to a shoot, whether it's maternity, family, engagement, whatever, I always make myself a little Pinterest mood board before every shoot, because I'm only human, and often mid-shoot, I can completely go blank and just forget every single pose. And when that has happened to me in the past and I've had nothing to refer to, I've panicked. And then when you panic, they can tell that you're disorganized and you don't know what you're doing, and it's not a good vibe. So because I've been in that situation before, I have learnt to be prepared so that doesn't happen in the future. And when I did first have the Pinterest board, I felt a little bit unprofessional and awkward, like pulling my phone out. But the more that I have used that as a reference, it's actually helped my couples as well, because they don't always understand your cueing and the movement you're trying to get them to do. Whereas if you can show them like a visual cue, that makes it so much easier. I am notorious for like needing to see a visual to understand what someone is trying to explain to me. So yeah, I posted a reel about that this morning. This is now, I'm just explaining to you in a bit more depth that if you do feel like you go to shoots and you just go blank mid-session, create a Pinterest mood board before every single shoot, and then all those photos, I cap it at like 20. So then all those photos are just in your hand if you need it, but half the time you don't even need it. Because you've pinned them, it's sort of fresh in your brain, and then you just feel so much more prepared before the shoot. So little handy hack. If you have a shoot this week, make yourself a Pinterest mood board. Vlog is edited. So sorry, I didn't grab the mic, but just quickly, I wanted to address my ending of last week's vlog. I didn't forget about it, but I just was like quickly grabbing the camera this morning to just be like, morning, it's Monday, here we are, new week, blah, blah, blah. And forgot that I had mentioned that we're going to talk about that thing at the end of last week. I think what I'll do, because I just want to get this all edited and up for tomorrow, ready to go. So I'm just going to finish that now. Tomorrow I will be in here doing meetings and stuff. And I also have just sent a response in regards to said email last week. So I will sit down with you tomorrow and we will go through the exciting news. Okay, I think it's story time. Basically, I wake up, as you saw in last week's vlog, the other morning, and I've got an email. Now, the email was like, when sometimes you just see an email address and the address just like sort of can look a bit spam-like, right? I think just because of who the email was from, that was straight away what went into my mind, because I was just like, there's no way that this is real. So anyway, I open the email. It is an email from British Vogue asking if I would like to feature. Wait, let me read it out to you. It's still so wild. Okay, so their very first email to me. On behalf of British Vogue, I wanted to invite you to join our wedding advertorial campaign. So there's obviously more to that email, but I had to screenshot this and put it into ChatGPT to check if it was real. Vogue has been on my vision board for over 2 years, and is, as I was explaining to you last week, I like to have a variety of goals on my vision board, ones that like are in the near future and then ones that are like further down the track to like keep me working hard. That was one of the long-term vision board goals, just to explain to you what they are offering me. So it is a paid position in their magazine. I actually reached out to some other Australian wedding photographers that have been listed in British Vogue, because I wanted to just get a bit of a rundown as to, one, if it was real, two, what was their experience like being featured with British Vogue. It obviously is a marketing expense, so I wanted to just do some research and be sure of what I was signing up to, basically. Reached out to a few Australian wedding photographers that have been featured on British Vogue in the same way, had paid for advertorial publication. All of them said they did also recognize that it was an expense, but it was so worth it, because being able to say on your website, social media, whatever, that you have been featured in British Vogue is just a huge, huge, huge boost in your reputation and the sort of clientele that you attract and the sort of weddings that you attract. So it's a 3-month commitment. I send them one single photo starting from April. I get one single photo with a little blurb about my business in a full page spread of other vendors and photographers for 3 months. When I put Vogue on my vision board, I guess it is still on there as like my big long-term goal, because the big long-term goal is to have one of my weddings, like a real wedding, featured, like a full page spread or a cover. A cover is like, that's the epitome of fucking vision board goals. I literally should just make a vision board of just a Vogue cover. That's, yeah, that goal feels well down the track. But when speaking to these other photographers and just sort of like, I think they could sense that I was like, does this just happen to everyone? Like, is this special? And all of them said to me, the fact that they reach out to you is a huge compliment, because I think it's one of those things that often photographers reach out to them and say, hey, can I be featured? So all of them said that's super exciting that they have come to you and said, hey, can we feature you? Which is wild. Still getting my head around it. So yes, complete disclaimer, it is a paid publication. I am paying per feature. I guess I'm giving you all this information because if British Vogue were to come to you, or if you would like to reach out to them and say, hey, can I pay for I keep forgetting the word, advertorial publication, then that's how it works. You have to commit for 3 months and you have to pay for each issue. There's actually multiple options that you can choose to pay for, but the one that I chose was one image with a little, I think you get like 55 words, little blurb in their magazine. But that, just to be able to now, once that first issue goes out, to be able to put on my social media website, seen in British Vogue, mental vision board goal that I have already ticked off at the start of the year. I have already sent off my first image and blurb. I think for each issue I'm just going to keep my blurb the same unless I sort of read over it and feel like I can tweak something. The blurb is basically who you are, a little bit about your business and the type of clientele that you work with. I've sent them that, I've sent them my first image, and yeah, now we wait for the April issue to come out. I already have this like full plan of in our office. Got this sort of blank wall that I'm like, what do I do with that? Like, I need this to be a bit more homey. Initially I was going to get some prints of my weddings done and like put them up there, and I may still do that with another wall, but now I am going to get those little like clear plastic like magazine holders, and I'm going to put 3 of them on the wall, and each time a British Vogue issue comes out with me in it, they are going on that wall. So exciting. So that was my exciting news to tell you from last week, when I was in complete shock and couldn't even say the word Vogue because I was like, there's no way. So today is, what am I doing today? I've got my first coaching call today, which is fun. I've just been for my walk. I think do I go to the gym now or later? I just ate. Cannot go to the gym without eating. I need fuel in my stomach, otherwise I'll pass away. Maybe I'll go into the office, do some work first, have my coaching call, go to gym later. I will definitely set this up and take you behind the scenes for part of the coaching call, because maybe it's something you're thinking about but you're not sure what that sort of looks like and what is involved in the coaching call. So I do them once a month. This is the first one, and pretty much I've got all the girls in like a group chat. I shouldn't say girls because I'm sure boys will join as well, but I put everyone in this private group chat, and every week I've said to them, like, if you've got your questions, like, keep them going in the group chat. Like, we've had discussions, we've had some of them shoot weddings and they've put their sneak peeks in the group chat, so we've had like all these conversations throughout the week, that now when we jump into the group chat, I know exactly what their week has looked like and what I can help them with today. Well, because yeah, it's one thing to like learn how to take better photos, but then I think what most people struggle with is actually getting clients. So if they're getting both in one workshop, you having done one, like, that's even more helpful because you've experienced being a client at one of them. But whenever I've like seen them advertised, it's more like one or the other. I don't really feel like I've seen many workshops where you're getting both. Yeah, I've got those like 2 whole weeks free, and I'm more than happy to keep them free as well. Well, yeah, for like any creative. So it could literally be photo, video, or content. Like that sort of stuff is what's going to be so valuable, because it's like no one talks about this stuff.
You know, and then I'll just CC you into the email to them.
Yep.
And then let's hope they're keen as.
About to jump in to my first group coaching call. So exciting. I've only got 3, but you got to start somewhere, hey? This will be fun to look back on when I've got hundreds of people in this group and be like, oh my God, remember the day when I started with 3 people? We'll be in there for an hour. Girls have already been messaging me in the group chat about questions that they've got. So we're going to be going over client workflow. And then if I can fit in more stuff at the end, I'll just let them ask questions. But yeah, let's get into it. Jenna, can you hear now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear? Okay, everyone can hear?
Wait.
Taylah can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
No.
What the
I
fuck?
can't hear me.
Why is that happening? Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is it me walking distracting?
I actually just pushed my headphones.
It's the best. I could not recommend this more, because like when I'm sitting, like normally I'm like sitting over at my desk there, and because as we all know, you sometimes just like get in a bit of a hole and you just edit for hours and hours, or you do emails, whatever, and then I just like start like slumping. So like my posture's shocking, and then I get just like super tired. Whereas like this is just like keeping me so awake and so alert. Okay, number 1, I didn't realize you could get coconut tequila.
Yeah, either.
This is news to me. Guys, I'm literally writing down next meeting we have next month. It's gonna be like a Friday afternoon or something, and we're all gonna have a drink. First things first, does everyone have Studio Ninja? So in terms of workflow, do you guys have a current workflow that you've set up on there, but you're finding it's not very flowy or no workflow? When you actually create a proper workflow, then you can create the email templates that you link to the workflow. That's what I'm going to go through. I just wanted to see where everyone was at. First email is initial inquiry, letting them know if their date is available, giving them a link to my price guide, and then I'm also giving them a link to book a call with me. I've had to reframe my mindset around inquiries to be like, if this person is not booking in with me, there's a reason why. It's because a better booking is coming my way. I give everyone the option to do a call over the phone or video. Obviously prefer the video just because I feel like it's a bit more personal and they can get to know you a bit better.
How do you get them to book the calls?
So I use Calendly. So Calendly is a booking, like a meeting program. So they get a link to that, and in Calendly, you can create your availability. It is Thursday. I have just spent the day editing an entire wedding gallery. That is my first one for 2026. Towards the end of last year, I was so busy and I was doing so many galleries, and like now that I don't have, like I've got lots of galleries, but I don't have a lot of wedding galleries currently. And because I've just got the one, I spent way too long on it. Anyway, we're not going to get in a habit of that because that's when you lose time freedom. I'm just about to have a client meeting shortly, but quick little 5-minute motivational chat with you. It's motivational? Yeah, it's motivational, but it's more like a reality check. No, what is it? Anyway, it's kind of crazy how like things start to go like really well for you when you start feeling like all this success coming your way, these opportunities coming your way, and like I've been having like this euphoric feeling. Like I am so grateful for my life. It's insane. I live where I want to live. I'm doing what I want to do for work. I spend my days how I want to spend my days. I'm getting to go to Europe this year. I'm going to New Zealand. Being asked to be in Vogue. It's crazy. There's just so many things. Like it just can't, and it keeps coming. I am normally someone that will be like, the good stuff's gonna end soon. Like, when does the good stuff end? It's testing me to just be like, accept it. Like this is actually how it's meant to be, not like this, good and bad. Like it's just meant to just be flowing effortlessly to you. So that's sort of like the first part of my little motivational speech, is that when things are going well, like don't sabotage it. Don't think to yourself like, oh, this is too good to be true. If good opportunities are coming your way, like, and especially as I did with the Vogue thing, like straight away, I was like, no way, this is going to be spam. Like that was my first thought. How bad is that? Rather than I've worked my ass off to get this sort of attention come into my inbox. So it's just like a little reframe. But my second part to this is that I find the timing funny, that all this amazing stuff is happening for me right now. But then at the same time, I've just heard some I've heard some rumors, certain people, which I actually thought were my friends, behind my back have been saying certain things, more so directed towards my coaching, because I have only been a photographer up here on the Gold Coast for 3 years now. I think a few people are looking at that like, who does she think she is? Like, becoming an educator so early, you've only done it for 3 years. One, I don't need to answer to those people at all, and I'm not about to. The reason I started coaching is purely because I had so many photographers in my DMs on Instagram. Can you start coaching? When you start coaching, can you let me know? I want to learn from you. When are you going to release a course? Can you give me advice? Can you give me tips? I reckon my following would be half couples, half photographers. There's so many photographers that follow me, and it's the only reason. I also would have thought the same thing. I haven't done it for long enough to educate. It is purely because I have had the demand and people are asking. I'm not justifying it, I'm not explaining myself, but it's very interesting that one of those people that have said, who does she think she is, coaching when she's not been in the industry that long, which I've been a photographer for 5 years, so how long is long? Like, how long do you want, Dal? It was also the same person that made a comment to me in my early days, like, you'll never get a wedding in Byron. It's really cliquey down there. There's no way you'll get in there. You have to know the right people, and they've got their little clique, so they don't really let anyone else into their little clique. So to give you a little mini backstory on that, when they told me that, nothing has put a firecracker up my ass more. The first thing I did was I contacted Fig Tree in Byron Bay, and I said, I'm a new wedding photographer here. I really want to start booking weddings down in Byron. Can I come down and like see your venue, take some photos so I've got them on like my portfolio and share them on my Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I went down there. I ended up meeting not only the owner of Fig Tree, but the owner of Byron Bay Weddings. Fig Tree is now my most popular venue that I shoot at every single year. If I had have listened to that person that said to me, you'll never get a wedding down in Byron, that would not be the case. I would not have been shooting at Fig Tree 4, 5, 6 times a year. Obviously not nice to hear, especially when it's from someone that you thought was your friend. I'm interested to document this, that like this is the time when I just started and a comment like that was made, to then see how far the coaching side of my business goes, to look back at it and be like, imagine if I listened to that person and let that stop me, or let that influence me and be like, oh, they're right, I shouldn't be coaching, I haven't been doing it for that long. I have heard that information. I've thought that says more about that person than it does about me. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and let's see how big we can make this thing. Nothing motivates me more than when someone tells me I can't do something, and you should be the same. have decided this morning to get back into my sunrise walk routine. I just missed the very start of the sunrise, but it's still so pretty. Another kind of slowish week, just some more like admin things going on this week. I'm trying to think of what even happened, because now it's Monday and I'm starting a new week, but this week is a lot more exciting. I've got a few shoots on this week, so it'll be a lot more behind the scenes of actually shooting, and yeah, we'll see where that takes us in terms of what sort of value I drip feed throughout the week. But yes, I am very grateful that everyone watches, everyone being maybe 2 people. Thank you, and always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments, because I am just going about my week, as I've said a million times. So if there's certain things that you guys want to learn, or you want to know, or you want to see, I need to know. Otherwise, this is what you get. So I will see you in the next one, and thank you. Love you. Bye.